Yeah, so I'm kind of curious to get a feel for where all of you are from. How many of you are here as participants in the Arctic Energy Summit that starts tomorrow? All right, about a fair number of you. How many of you are from the Fairbanks community here locally that are just here for the evening? Excellent. It's great to have all of you here as well. How many of you are from outside of the state of Alaska? And of those of you, how many of you, this is your first time here in Fairbanks? How are you enjoying the weather? Yeah, I think we're not quite sure what to think of it either. Hopefully the roads won't be too bad tonight. Make sure everyone drives safely. Hopefully a lot of you are taking advantage of the shuttles that are available for this evening. So anyway, what I did want to spend a little bit of time talking about is the format for tonight's event. This is intended to not just be a speaking event, but also a networking event. We've got a really packed agenda, so there's really very little breaks planned into the agenda. We've just got one. And so with that being said, I'm expecting that people are going to be coming in and out of the theater as the evening progresses. A lot of you probably see someone across the room that you haven't seen in a couple of years that you'd really like to catch up with, and that is absolutely okay. We want you to do that here. But please take those conversations outside of the theater so that we're respectful to our speakers tonight who have put a lot of effort into preparing for this event. So go ahead, go out there. Those of you that are part of the Arctic Energy Summit, you've got your tickets. Enjoy the venue. Thank you to Adam Wool and his wonderful staff here for making this facility available for this evening and for many other events that the Alaska Center for Energy and Power has hosted in the past. So please give them a round of applause. So we are going to have one very special guest this evening. Senator Lisa Murkowski is going to come to give us some prepared remarks, probably at about 5:30. So we're going to take a break from the formal agenda at that point in time to give her a chance to come up here and address the crowd. These are remarks she was actually planning to make tomorrow morning at the Arctic Energy Summit. But she's being called back to Washington, D.C. She has to get on the 6 a.m. flight after doing this whirlwind trip of the Arctic that she's been on all day. But she's still coming here tonight to speak with us, and I really appreciate the fact that she's willing to do that. She's going to get on a 6 a.m. flight, fly back to D.C. for an important vote in the Senate tomorrow. So when she comes, she's going to speak for about 15 minutes or so. We're going to have she answers some limited questions from the audience, and then when she needs to leave, I'd really appreciate it if everyone stays seated or stay where you're at and give the senator and those with her a chance to exit the auditorium because she has another engagement that she needs to get to right afterwards. So there's not going to be a chance to catch her and say thank you or ask her a question afterwards anyway. And then we're going to go straight back into the rest of the agenda with the TED Talks for the rest of the evening. So I mentioned that I've been looking forward to this event for many months since we first organized it. Where's Niels Andreasen? Is he here tonight? He's the main organizer with the Institute of the North of the Summit. And when he proposed the idea several months ago about the idea of having TED-style talk event as an opener for the Arctic Energy Summit. I just thought that was a really wonderful idea. And I'm really excited about the group of speakers that we have here tonight. We've got 10 total from very, very diverse backgrounds. We have a couple of physicists and engineers. We have a volcanologist. We have an oceanographer. We've got a chemist and a psychologist. And each one of them is passionate about Alaska, about what the university can contribute to the challenges that are facing our society today, and is really connected to what's going on in the greater Arctic. I think what I want to really point out is tonight's presentations are not about presenting methodologies or research findings, the kind of things that we've actually, in the past, actually had a lot of our presentations here focus on. Today, it's really about telling stories. More about the why we do the research we do, and not just the how or the results, presenting the results. So, to the speakers over there, can you guys raise your hands for a second? Okay, excellent. So the first one of you that shows a graph, you have to buy everyone a beer. And anyone that shows a complex equations, you got to buy 2 beers. No, but seriously. No, I think at the end of the day, I think that how we produce and use energy is really all about people. It's about having affordable energy, access to affordable energy, access to sustainable energy for our communities, for our people, and that's really why a lot of us are here today. Our communities, our community of the Arctic, our community around the world, and how the challenge of energy really ties into all of that. There's a local energy champion. I don't know if he's in a room tonight, actually. His name is Steve Hagenson. Is he around tonight? He used to be the manager for the local electric utility, Golden Valley Electric Association, and also the director of the Alaska Energy Authority. And I just had a conversation with him the other day at a local forum, and he shared an anecdote with me from Aristotle, that a community cultivates what it honors. And I thought that was a really interesting statement. It's kind of stuck with me all week, and I kind of have been thinking about that a little bit more. A community cultivates what it honors. It's an interesting point. And so I think it's profound in a way because it does ring true, but then you start to piece it apart and think, what is it that we honor? And is that always the same? Does somebody that's a whaling captain in Barrow trying to get his first whale for the season, does he honor the same thing as somebody that's living in Tromsø or somebody that's from Yakutsk in Russia? Do we honor the same thing? Probably not entirely. But there is this tie of energy that does kind of weave through and is a common theme throughout the Arctic. And I think it's because we recognize as a people, we're very vulnerable. Our environments are very harsh. We're few in number and often very far from major resupply points. And we rely a lot on imports and things like that. So energy is really critical to the fabric of who we are, of what we do as a people. And access to affordable, reliable energy is absolutely critical to surviving and thriving in the Arctic environment. And so I think that one of the things that I'm interested in thinking of is honoring energy, honoring what these researchers have to contribute, what not just these researchers, but researchers everywhere have to contribute to this, because it's occurred to me in thinking this through a little bit that the Arctic has been the home of innovation in energy in many, many different forms. There's 8 Arctic nations, and each of them has contributed something very meaningful to the global energy picture. And whether that's related to extraction of oil and gas in very harsh climates, whether that might be geothermal exploration and development in Iceland, or here in Alaska, looking at adding renewable resources at sometimes very high contribution levels in very remote and isolated communities to help supplement diesel fuel that's shipped in from long supply lines. That's something that our program at the Alaska Center for Energy and Power focuses on. Those are the kinds of innovation that are happening in the Arctic. And there's many, many other stories beyond that. And you're just going to hear a few of those tonight. But I hope that you'll come away inspired by the stories that you hear and think about all the stories that are out there that you didn't hear this evening, but that are out there. And so at the end of the day, I'm hoping that you will appreciate and honor what a research institution and an educational institution like the University of Alaska Fairbanks and many others that are out there throughout the Arctic contribute to the challenges facing the Arctic, facing the globe, and what a difference it can make for all of us. So thank you very much. And with that.